Hey everybody, welcome to episode 107 of the Metal Detecting Show podcast. My name is Kieran and I have been metal detecting now for 30 years. This week, I answer the internet's most common questions asked on forums, normally starting with new detectorists looking for... So, let's get on with the show. Hey everyone, before we start, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and I hope you enjoyed the show this week. But before we begin, I want to give you the following information. If you want to give me feedback or interact with the show, please reach out to me on Twitter at DetectivistThe or Instagram at the Metal Detecting Podcast. Or if you want to pop me an email, you can do so at kieran@themetaldetectingshow.com. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can do so on buymeacoffee.com/metal detecting. And lastly, and most importantly, if you like this content, please don't hesitate to tell your friends. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, I hope you had a great week this week. Big family event this week in the Martin household, so it's been all hands to the pump, painting, cleaning, power hosing, putting all my finds in line of sight, just so someone will ask a question. What's this one, Kieran? Well, funny you should ask this. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this week's topic is taken directly from the forums. Now, to start, I am terrible with forums. I'm terrible on the Irish forums. I'm terrible on international forums. I am very much a lurker. I know if I started commenting more on forums and interacting more on forums, that the podcast would have twice as many listeners. But I'm okay with that. I am not consistent with interacting with people on forums. So, them's are the breaks, I suppose. So let's start with the most common new detectorist questions on the forums. Now, the reason I'm looking at these because every time I see them, they remind me of the old classified ads that you used to see in local papers back in the day. New detectorists looking for a single white female to hold hands and have a meaningful relationship. New detectorists looking for lady to clean my house. New detectorists looking for man to cut my grass. This sort of thing. Every time I see them, I put that voice on in my head. New detectorist looking for buddy in Ohio. Now, there's nothing wrong with them. That's the voice I put in my head. But there's three very common ones. So we'll start with the one that generally triggers me the most when I see it. And that is new detectorist looking for a detector-friendly area to hunt. Now, why would this trigger me? Well, let's break it down a little bit. New detectors, okay, it's a new person in the hobby, is looking for a detector-friendly area to hunt. So this is an area where they're allowed to hunt by law, an area where there is no fear of public persecution, an area where they don't have to ask for permission, and an area where they don't have to know the law. So I'm going to break down each of these individually. So let's start with the fear of public persecution. Anybody asking this question, first thing I go, right, there's fear. There's fear of public persecution. All the eyes are looking at me. Why are they asking me these questions? What if they ask me a difficult question? I'm not sure if I'm meant to be here or not. That's what I read from that question. You're afraid of people looking at you, asking you difficult questions, and you're not sure if you should be there, right? There's also a tone of detector-friendly areas to hunt. So that says to me that this is someone who is looking for somewhere to hunt because they don't need to ask for permission. Again, fear of no this time, of asking for permission, getting a no, fear of rejection. It also says looking for a detector-friendly area to hunt, not knowing where to hunt or how to research a site, or not willing to do it. Essentially, not knowing the laws or local laws or where they can and can't hunt. I kind of see this question as the easy way out and to avoid doing all of the above. Interacting with the public, getting the no's, avoiding doing some research, and avoiding understanding what the local laws are. I mean, the fear of no, what's the worst that can happen? If people are looking at you, what's the big deal? I guarantee you, the one person you see looking at you, there's 10 other people that you don't see. Embrace it. Listen, metal detecting is weird. We're grown adults, or kids even, probably grown adults with inner kids, digging around in the dirt, looking for something that potentially could be worth something, but 99% of the time is not worth anything. It is weird. It's a weird hobby. It's a weird thing to look at. So people are going to look. So just get over it. Let your freak flag fly. People giving you the eyes is either inquisitiveness or it's not your problem. Just let them look at you. It's not a big deal. The fear of no or the fear of rejection. This is a self-confidence thing. You clearly haven't invested any time in your youth trying to pick up a partner. You haven't had enough rejection in your life. Rejection is a tough one. Every rejection you receive, it accumulates. It chips away at your self-confidence. But when talking about detecting, the rejection normally comes from a place outside your control. Say, for example, in Ireland, it's very hard to get permission in Ireland for insurance reasons. Farmers have difficulty due to suspicion of letting people on their lands, due to 800 years of oppression by Britain. But generally, yeah, there is a problem with farmers or landowners letting the public on their land in Ireland. So it's very hard to get permission here. And it could be the same for you. So don't take rejection in metal detecting personal. Believe me, landowners have bigger problems to deal with than you and won't even remember you in 5 minutes after you've given the no. But you'll probably carry that rejection around with you for the rest of the day if you let it. So you got to remember to reset. They've got their reasons, and it's nothing personal, and it's nothing to be afraid of going out and asking for permission. Another facet of that question is not knowing where to hunt. I do cut some slack here. They haven't cottoned on to the fact that research is the biggest part of the hobby, but that will come with time, I suppose, and probably exactly what forums are for. But a better plan would be to join a local history group on Facebook or in person to get some local information. And I suppose the final breakdown of that Detectorist Classified is not knowing the law. Sometimes when I see this type of stuff online, I think this question could have been answered with a simple Google search. Now, and it's not coming from a place of you're inferior to me. It's just coming from a place of maybe understanding the internet, and the answers to these questions are out there and you don't need to ask the question again, especially if you follow the Metal Detecting Show podcast. But yeah, a simple Google search can normally answer most of these, especially when I see questions like, anybody know what the law is in some random county, Salt Lake County in Utah? I don't even know if Salt Lake is a county in Utah, but it's definitely a city. Why would you take legal advice from somebody on a forum? The answer here is always go to your local county office to get the actual law and understand how they interpret it, not how Johnny Big Balls understands the law on a forum. Another new detectorist classified that we see regularly. New detectorist looking for experienced detectorists to show the ropes or to hunt with. Classic classified question. This is kind of a lazy first step into the hobby, if you ask me. And it sounds to me like, can I tag along, let you get all the permissions, do all the work? I know that's not the intention, but that's how they read. And the only way this will bear fruit is that you happen to know an experienced detectorist and they know you from something else. No experienced detectorist is going to bring a stranger, especially somebody they met on a forum, onto his permissions. It's just not going to happen, folks, unless there's some quid pro quo. And it's just not going to happen for so many reasons. Personal security, resource security, permission security, reputational security. It goes on and on. And the final one that I do approve of the question on a forum, however, it's a question that can never be answered really in a forum. New detectorists looking for a detecting club. I like this one, and sometimes I'd love to help out, but can't. It's very parochial information, so it requires some luck in someone else knowing the answer. And unfortunately, 100 times out of 100, these go unanswered. Listen, to wrap up, metal detecting is a great hobby, but there's a few things that are difficult to navigate at the start. And unfortunately, asking these new detectors classified, seeking help or permission are all really excuses just to avoid the no and will never bear fruit and set you up for failure at the start. My advice is and always will be, know the law, don't be afraid of no, and if you're looking for an experienced hunting buddy, you need to bring something to the table yourself. And that's it for this week, guys. I hope you like this episode of the Metal Detecting Show podcast. Check out our website, www.themetaldetectingshow.com, for this episode show notes. Check out our Patreon page if you want to help the podcast stay alive or just want to buy me a coffee. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/metaldetecting. If you want to support the show via Patreon, you can do so on patreon.com/the Metal Detecting Show. Once again, if you like this content and would like more, please don't hesitate to tell your friends, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hope you've enjoyed the episode this week, and we will chat to you all again next week. Get out there, eyes down, good luck, and happy hunting. New detectorists looking for a new detector to pinpoint. Looking for a partner to pinpoint with his new detector. Boom, chicka, wow, wow!